Okay, I've got a request for a reading and asking if in the Bible it says that in Revelations that the angels are giving the key to the abyss to Apollyon, and there will be unleashing hell on earth. So anyway, let me give you the reading for that, and then I will give you my take on it as well. So the first thing we have coming out, sorry about that, the light is just, is, let me put my glasses on so I can actually, is jealousy, unleashing of inner demons. Okay. And then we have tied up, being tied up. And I think, you know, again, this is happening a lot of places. So again, my take on these type of things, it's like somebody was asking about Antichrist. Is this person the Antichrist? Is that person the Antichrist? Well, I see the Antichrist as a movement. Like the evangelicals, everything they're preaching really comes from 666, not from what's given, you know, the teachings of Christ. So I see Antichrist as a movement. And the same thing with this type of thing. So let me continue to go through the reading. First we have the jealousy aspect, and people just feel tied up. You know, they feel they're surrounded by drama all the time. Okay, and they're, you know, keep feeling like they're being pushed, they're being moved, they're being, you know, and they don't know how to get out of the situations they're in. So they have the, you know, here's the Queen of Swords, I mean, not the Queen, yeah, the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords. Okay, so they have all this internal struggle, and they just start rashly acting out, you know. And then the last card I get on this is coercion. So it's like, you know, people are, you know, ego. They're wound up by ego, okay? And now there's no more, people are not civil any longer. They get revved up. So this is, you know, again, they're after money. Their whole focus is money, mammon. Okay, so yeah, this is rising up. You know, this is rising up. And I see it more as an internal thing with humanity. Okay, because they've lost a way. They don't know how to get a handle on things. They you know, rejected God, they've rejected things of the Spirit, and they've become ego-centered, which is what Satan tries to do. If you understand, you know, when he was trying to tempt Christ, what did he do? He took him on the mountain and said, you know, overlooking all this land, it said, if you worship me, I'll give you everything, okay? I'll give you money, I'll give you whatever you want, okay? And Christ's thing was, don't tempt the Lord thy God, okay? Don't, you know, this is not what you go after, these external things. But people have decided to go after all these externals. So they're never happy. So they're fighting. They're fighting inside, they're fighting outside, they're rushing around crazy. They feel jealousy. They're jealous about what other people have, what they don't have. They've got themselves tied up. And they don't see they can get out of that. Okay, you can get out of it, but they don't see the way out. So they are feeling coerced. They start looking for these groups and these things, and they get caught up in this wave of darkness. And they think that they're getting light. And instead of light, again, it's darkness. I don't know how many times I've seen now these ones are supposed to be spiritual groups, and they'll exchange the light from the dark. And that which is light that's coming from God, they'll call it dark. And that which is dark, which is ego-fed drama, they'll say it's the light. Okay? So yes, this stuff is coming up. But I don't see it, again, as a angel releasing some demons. You know, if you are, again, if you are somebody that's drinking and stuff, you'll get these entity things that will latch and feed off of that. And it's like a symbiotic thing. One feeds the other. Okay? One feeds the other. And people get caught up in this stuff and get drug out into the drama. And it's because, you know, they don't want to surrender. They don't want to surrender within to God. Now they have, the New Age thing was, God is my co-pilot. But don't forget, I'm in charge. Okay? God's just there to give me whatever I want, and I'm in charge. Okay? Not God is, I'm God's co-pilot. I'm there to aid God. No, God is my co-pilot. I don't make any mistake. I am large and in charge. And this is what happened. Ego has come up, and it's all this divisionary stuff. And that's again what this what you want to call satanic or evil, or darkness, this ignorance. I call it ignorance. What runs this ignorance is this division. You got to climb over the top of somebody else to be successful. It's, dog eat dog. It's all this drama. So yes, ego is becoming more prevalent. And this idea of might and fighting and anger, power, based on not, how much you love, but how much you can repress. And they think that's power. If I can repress, suppress, make somebody fearful, then I've got power. So it's no longer about being a leader, giving what's benefiting to people and have them wanting to follow you. It's about fear, repression, getting yours first, sitting there, and yeah. So in one way you could say yes, that is a prophecy that's happening, because people that are in that mindset of that hate and that skewed are in hell, okay? They live in a hell realm. It's a hell realm of their own design, but yes, it's a hell realm. They're not happy, okay? And they continually want to make somebody else more unhappy than they are to convince themselves that they're happy. Okay, so yes, they're in a hell realm now. And when they leave the form, they're going to continue to be in a hell realm. Okay? So, but that doesn't mean that you should have any fear. If you stay in the straight and narrow, you stay in the aspect of love, you stay in the aspect of light, you stay in that, honesty, integrity, transparency, sacredness, you have nothing to worry about. But it's the ones that are ego-centered, that are run by jealousy, greed, all those dark emotions, then yeah, they're in a hell realm. Okay? And the only way they know forward is to oppress. Okay? Me against them. Not that, they don't see the light. If we all work together, it benefits everyone. They don't see that. They only see it's me against somebody else. Okay? Somebody has to be low. Somebody has to be low for me to be high. That's their mindset. Okay? And turning off emotions, not caring for anyone but themselves. That's the whole thing of Satanism. is absolute total ego without and having any type of a feeling for anyone else. Okay? So, you know, they haven't come to this point of understanding that you get more if you aid and benefit and we all work together. Okay? Then it's a much happier place, a much beneficial, a much, you know, if these CEOs, instead of being greedy and us against them, maybe they'd have a little less, but they'd be a lot whole happier, and their companies would do much better. If everybody could make a living, could, you know, and well, like it used to be in the old days where you had like a family, they wanted to take care of each other, and the workers were loyal to the person they worked for, and the head of the company was loyal to their workers. Well, not anymore. Now it's become the bottom line. Money, greed, that's it. So yeah, it's a again, type of mindset that has changed. People have gone from being heart-centered to being just mental. Okay, and they've turned off the heart. Okay. So in a way you could say, yes, that's happened. In another way you say that's, you know, again, it's another pointer. It's another pointer. It's the same thing like when I try to explain Hinduism. You don't worship these gods and goddesses. Each one of the gods, goddesses represents a different type of energy. Okay? Different focus, a different energy, a different, you know. So if you understand it that way, then it will make a whole lot more sense to people, rather than trying to, again, separate, you know, and put on a pedestal something. Okay, because we have all of these things within us. Everyone has the same amount of God energy fueling their being. Okay, but what are you going to do with it? Are you going to let it blossom? Are you going to seek it out? Are you going to surrender to that, to the natural flow of the universe? Or are you going to try to be like Satan was? Remember, Satan was the head of the heavenly choirs? And what happened? He didn't want to give the glory to God. He wanted it all for himself. So instead of being Lucifer, which was this light, he became Satan, this fallen angel. He wasn't created evil. Okay? He was the head of the choir. And this is why they say sometimes Satan, or, you know, uses music to influence. Okay? Because it's very ego-driven, some of it. So I'll leave this here. Maybe it's a little bit more preaching than what I usually do with people. But since you asked, you know, it's opened up this whole thing. And again, we're going to go through some very, very rough times now. Because instead of understanding that ego should be subservient, people have tried to put ego on the pedestal. Okay, and it's run amok. And it's like, you know, the same philosophy that Trump has. The ends justify the means. They'll do any underhanded, dirty thing they can do to get ahead. They don't care about anyone else. The ends justify the means, no matter what it takes. Murder, corruption, blackmail, they don't care. And they can justify it in their minds because it's all ego-driven. It's not driven by love of God, love of mankind, love of nature. It's driven by fear, fear of lack, and this other, you know, mentality, which only breeds hatred, division, and again, this is something that we're going to have to work on to educate people. Because people that are in that logic are uneducated. Okay? They're uneducated. So, you could say they're a bit mentally ill. Okay, they're a lot mentally ill. But again, I don't want people to be in fear. Like, this is why Christ kept saying, fear not, fear not, fear not. Greater is he that's within me than he that is in the world. Okay, these are world. That's why they say they are worldly people, because they are propelled by ego. Okay, they're not looking long distance to eternity. Okay, they only see this little segment of life as being the whole of everything. Okay, and they don't understand the greater picture of how all this works together. So I'm going to leave this here. Thank you for your question. I hope that's answered it and not confused you more. Okay. But thank you for your question, and I will see you online. Aho.